There you go.
Triple bang. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the committee as a whole meeting for Business Affairs and Administrative. Ms. Campbell, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Green.
Here.
Mrs. Heinz. Mr. Dermott. Mr. Luke. Mr. Harrell. Mr. Nation. Mrs. Richardson. Mr. Winkler. Mrs. Drucker. Mr. Betancourt. Mrs. Lamy. Here. Mr. Hersey.
Here.
Mr. Burrow. Mr. Kuzan. Here. Mrs. Page.
Present.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. We're going to dispense with the invocation and pledge as we have done that in the prior meeting. Do we have any board members that would like to recognize any sneak-in visitors? No? Has anybody registered for 5 minutes? For 3 minutes? Okay. Well, moving right along. Can approval of the minutes for committee as a whole meeting held on December 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion? Ms. Heinz, second. Mr. Harrell? Are there any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, are there any from the public? Seeing none as well. Everyone, please vote. Looks like that motion carries 13 yeas, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. There are no agenda items, so we'll move next to the administrative reports for our monthly maintenance and custodial report. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Mr. Green, and Happy New Year, everyone. Mr. Gottschall and his staff is here. If you have any questions, that's been sent to you electronically, that report.
Seeing none, our monthly risk management report, Mr. Jabbia.
Mr. Gaspard is here if you have any questions.
Seeing none, we'll move to the transportation report, Mr. Jabbia.
And Mr. Bodie is here if you have any questions.
Quick and easy, Mr. Jabbia.
I
Good job.
like that.
We'll move to item 6, construction. Ms. Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Green. We have, first item is recommends acceptance of Slidell High School renovations and additions as substantially complete, subject to the architect's recommendations, submittal of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Folse, STPSB project number 1430.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Kuzan, second. Mr. Hersey. Do we have any comments from the board? Any from the public? Seeing none, please vote. Wonderful. That motion carries 14 to none and no abstentions. Ms. Tipton, do you have the construction report?
Yes, sir. Thank you. At Madisonville Elementary, the concrete block masonry work is underway on the gym portion of the new building. The metal building structure for the 2-story classroom portion of the new building is progressing. The final portion of the slab for the new building is being prepared to be poured next week, weather permitting. At Mandeville High, the steel structure for the locker room expansion is complete and masonry work is scheduled to begin next week. Half of the second floor slab of the classroom building has been poured, and the second half of that second floor slab is scheduled to be poured at the end of next week. Concrete columns are being formed and being poured on the second floor as well. At Slidell High, the contractor is getting the final inspections for occupancy. And the project for Abney Early Childhood Center to add 2 modular buildings has been advertised for bids. All of our other capital improvement projects for the new bond issue are continuing to progress well in their design phase. And the summer project work is some of the projects have been advertised for bids. We have them lined up to be advertised and quoted here early in the beginning of this year so that we'll have the summer work lined up to happen. So, any questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Tipton. I
Thank
know
you.
some of these are very big projects, and we certainly appreciate your continued diligence there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item 7, business affairs. Ms. Prevost, do you have our monthly financial report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Green. The November report was sent to you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Ms. Richardson?
Ms. Prevost, I was just looking at the report, and this is just a curiosity question, if you will. The earnings on investment, what page is that? Page 1? Or 2. I noticed that the budget is $370,000, and then the actual is $115,000. Is that just because of?
Which financial statement are you looking at?
Let's see,
Not
the
general
first.
fund?
Oh, I am so very sorry.
That's okay. I
It's
see you're looking at 2013 construction.
construction fund, and then it goes
on
right
page
into.
3.
Yes, and then it goes right into the revenues.
Okay.
And that very first item, I just noticed the variance from 370,000 to 115. What is that?
Yeah, the 370 is what we project for the whole year.
Okay,
The 115 is from July to November to date.
so that number will invariably grow.
Correct.
Throughout the- okay.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes, thank you. Like I said, it was just more for my information.
Yes. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Any other questions? In our monthly purchasing report?
Yes, Ms. Stevens is here to answer any questions on that report.
Okay. With no other items on our agenda, Mr. Nation, do you have some announcements?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Green. The regular board meeting is January the 16th at 7 p.m., and our entertainment will begin at 6 p.m. And there's a special meeting following the board meeting next week for expulsion appeal hearings. And that is all the announcements for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Nation.
Playing for the national championship.
He's an Alabama man.
Did you want to make that announcement, Mr. Dermott?
Go Tigers!
With no further business, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.